Thank you for joining with us at Beauty on the Bayou podcast. Today we have Asia, your host.
Brianna, the hair ranger.
I'm Tawana Makeba.
I'm Nina, the logician.
Lizzie, the braid whisperer.
And I'm Mia, the special guest.
Yes, Mia is our special guest today. Today we're going to be talking about locks, starting locks, the process of locks, and questions that we have put out there, and we have gotten back as far as feedback with locks. So today we're going to start off with Ms. Tawana. Oh, no, we're going to start off with the loctician.
The logician.
The loctician.
What would you like to know, Miss Asia?
Okay, what are the different ways that you can start your locks?
The different ways to start locks, they have a few different methods or techniques. It actually depends on the texture of your hair, which would be best implemented for your hair, which would be the best technique. Say for instance, the interlocking method is one method. We have the freeform method, we have the palm twist method, and also the double strand technique. The double strand technique would be, say for instance, just taking two single strands of hair and doubling them together. This would happen if your hair is fully grown, matured into a full bush, and you're ready to start your locks, but it'll give it the shape and the form. And all you have to do is do the wash and the retwist and the basic hair maintenance, and eventually your hair will lock. The interlocking technique is more like a crocheting technique, where you take the needle and you intertwine the hair in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And that begins the locks. The free-forming locks would be just free-form. They do what they want to do. They just mature as they go along through the different stages, and they have their own pattern in which way they'll section off and develop, and the sizes will be different. And it's just free-form locks. Well, palm twisting, that's more or less what you see with everybody, the technique that everybody uses. It's when you do the diamond parts or the square part pattern, and you just go along and do a basic palm twist, tighten at the roots, and twist it down and smooth all the hair down into the lock, which will give it its shape.
Okay. Is any one of these methods better than the other?
It actually depends on the texture of your hair, the length of your hair, and I guess basically your preference. Your preference.
And I would add hair texture.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the person's hair texture, there may be a method that works better for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like you said earlier, to me, if their hair is longer, definitely double strands.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a lot of length on their hair.
Mm-hmm.
So, if they have a lot of process on their hair, I would say interlocking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So I know that you said that with the free flowing, it's different sizes within that one head. But I also know that when starting locks, you can have different sizes. Is there a determination on what's stronger for you when you lock up, bigger versus smaller?
Again, I think that depends on the texture of the person's hair and how often they do their lock maintenance and how well they take care of their hair. I think that would be the determining factor on the ratio on the size of the locks.
Okay.
Even just the overall health.
Overall, I would add a few things. I feel like if you know you're going to let your locks grow long, just by sheer gravity, they should be started larger, because the longer the lock grows, the more it hangs down to the ground. So if it's thin, it has a propensity, the possibility of breaking off, unless it's very well maintained. That's my advice to people that want to do interlocking. A lot of times they want their locks very small, but if they're not going to maintain them on a regular basis, that will cause breakage. So I think
What would be a regular basis?
for interlocking, I would say 4 to 6 weeks.
For a thinner
For a thinner
lock?
lock. What do you think for just regular lock maintenance? How often?
How often? Every 6 weeks. Maybe every 4 to 6 weeks, depending again on the texture. And just the person's personal preference, because some people prefer a more manicure styled polished look, whereas opposed to some people prefer for just their hair to just do what it do.
A norm.
Just,
Be free.
yeah, lock and just fall.
And then
So it's the person and the preference and the texture of the hair.
And then also how often some people hair grow faster than others. So that will play a part in it, the manicuring often too, because some people hair go like every 2 weeks fast. I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I've seen guys come and get their hair twisted or get their hair twisted every 2 weeks.
I
I've seen
find
that
that mostly men's hair
grow fast.
they really do, and I don't know if it's because they do less with their hair, but we do a lot of men with locks, and I think their hair grows faster.
I think so too. I'm sorry. I really do.
And since we're on that subject, Stacy from Chicago asks, how long can you go without retwisting? Like when is it a breaking point to where it's like you say 4 to 6 weeks, but can you go past 6 weeks? What details in your hair shows that
It's time
It's time.
for some
Yeah.
love. I would say when you have a family, a community growing in the back, when your hair starts to mat and it won't separate, if you can't go through and pull your locks apart, and they're joining and clumping together and turning 3 and 4, turning into one, you've gone too long.
Okay.
And I also would say examine your scalp for cleanliness.
Yes.
When it gets to be really super flaky or there's lots of buildup, you've gone too long. You need to come in. Like even if it still is separated, like Nina's saying, it's not growing together, but if it's unclean, you've gone too long. You need to make sure you come in to cleanse your scalp and clean your hair.
Can I add something? People always think if they wash their hair that they have to get their hair twisted. That is not true. You
Yes.
can wash your hair often and not get it twisted.
Yes.
Thank you for adding that. Yes.
I'm a witness. I wash my hair often, but I'm not twisting very often. Don't tell me why.
Okay. What is the healthiest way to maintain your locks?
The healthiest way to maintain your locks.
Like, is it styling after locking, or is it ponytail, or is it just free flowing hanging? What is the healthiest way to maintain?
I think the very healthiest to maintain your hair is to keep it natural and not add too many colors, too many products, too many things to your hair. If you just allow your hair, especially in the initial phases of locking, if you just allow your hair to grow and become. Now, once you've reached a stage of maturity, just being mindful that you're not always braiding, you're not always wearing it in a ponytail, that you're keeping your hair in a rotation so that it has time to breathe. You're not putting colors back to back on your hair. And if you do put the colors on it, that you're using deep moisturizers, you're using coconut oil, you're taking care of your hair because you've put color in it. Or if you're wearing your hair pulled back in a ponytail, I would suggest that you pull the ponytail and then just relax your hands a little bit before you put it on, so you're not pulling the hair from the follicle, you're not pulling the hair too tight.
When you say maturity of the locks, is there a time length, or what justifies whether or not your locks are mature?
What justifies whether your locks are mature? I would say if it's locked. Because you can go a year or two and still not have locks. Your hair may be coming together, but it's not locked. So it goes through different stages and different phases, which I think Ms. Swan was going to explain a little bit more. And I think that would be a good one.
So there's about 5 different phases of locking. The first is the pre-lock phase, when you first come to somebody or you sit at home and you put it together yourself, whether it's a comb coil, whether it's a double strand. That's like the pre-phase of a lock. And then after the pre-phase comes budding, where it's not so smooth, it starts popping. It doesn't look like a smooth lock. You'll have like a little bulge either at the top or at the bottom or in the middle part of the lock. Locks don't always happen consistently, so that's called like the budding phase. I call it like the it's after the pre-phase, but you're not really locked just yet. The third stage I call is the growing stage. Your hair is actually starting to form a lock. It's starting to smooth out. But as Nina mentioned before, it's not fully mature. You still have some loose ends. It doesn't really look consistent. But then after that comes the maturing stage where the locks are forming a level of consistency. They're starting to grow at a pretty even pace. You know, when you look at your hair, you see some level of uniformity. You don't have one just sticking off or going in any kind of way. And then after that growing stage, you have the atrophy stage. Once you've had locks for about 7 years, which is a cycle, you'll start experiencing some breakage, particularly at the ends. But your locks have fully matured and they're starting to shed a little bit. So that's the atrophy stage, and that's normal.
Okay. When whether it be your hairdresser or you trying to maintain your locks at home, what ingredients should you look for when looking at products to twist hair?
I think all natural products, when you see jojoba oil, coconut oil, shea butter, those are all things that should attract you to that product. And I think you should stray away from things that say alcohol, phosphate, sulfate, like different things like that. I mean, we all know the difference between chemicals, natural. Go more for the natural products. I think that's a big plus.
And no beeswax.
And no beeswax, and no lock and twist gel, and the Ampro, is that what it is? The black gel? Yes. Yes.
No spritz.
No spritz.
No spritz. These things will build up in your locks. They will cause a dullness over time, and some of the products may even cause breakage. So the more natural you are, the healthier your hair will love to be.
Olive oil. It's quite a few different things that you
Aloe
can
vera
use.
gel.
Honey.
Yeah.
Honey?
Yeah. Honey is a great alternative to beeswax because when you rinse honey, it just comes right out. Whereas beeswax, it has buildup. You might be able to twist your hair with beeswax once or twice without seeing it, but over a long period of time, it just builds up and it causes a dull look.
Okay.
Can I add something? So, you the viewers might think, well, daggone, Miss DeWanda, I use beeswax on my hair. What do I do? How can I make a clean slate? You're going to wash your hair with baking soda and vinegar.
Yes.
And that would strip your hair of all of the impurities and the buildup, and you may see, like, if you go through your locks at the top, when you wet your hair, it's like a squeeze and you'll feel something slimy coming up. That would be the buildup that we're referring to.
And even a brown color.
A brownish color that doesn't come out with the shampoo, even after a good shampoo and a conditioning, you will notice a little buildup at the top where maybe the last person who twisted or whatever product they use, it's caused the buildup in that area. So once again, like Miss Lizzie stated, you would use a baking soda and a vinegar, and it would just chemically make a fizzing reaction.
Don't freak out.
Sit with a shower cap for about 10 minutes, let it set in, and then mix it with the shampoo and wash it thoroughly. And then rinse it out, and then wash it again with the shampoo. Rinse it out really well, get the vinegar smell out. Again, if you need to wash it however many times you're comfortable until you feel as though you've gotten the vinegar smell and the baking soda out of your locks. But it will strip it.
Yeah, it'll strip whatever buildup has been in there, particularly the beeswax. I would say maybe like 2 to 3 times to shampoo your hair, 2 to 3 times to get it thoroughly clean.
And luckily, Miss DeWanda has made her product.
Right, I was getting ready to introduce. Ms. DeWanda has products here at Beauty on the Bayou. You can get the products online at
www.beautyonthebayou.com.
Right. So we're gonna let you talk about your products.
So Lizzie and Nina mentioned earlier on products that we love, and we also mentioned some products that we should stay away from. So over the years, I've been trying different products, and I ended up formulating this one, which the main 3 ingredients are aloe vera gel, coconut oil, and honey. That's the main 3 ingredients. They're all natural. This is good for starting locks, it's good for maintaining locks, and it's also good for double strand twist. We call it a hair moisturizer. And I have been making it for quite some time, so I'm now making it available for stylists in the bucket size. This size is about $60 and this size is $10. So you can find it online, and we love it. We use it here and we do sell it to the public.
Or you can come in.
Yes, we have it here for
Come
sale.
in.
And it's also available at the Oya Market on St. Claude Avenue.
Oh yeah, market. Okay. Anywhere else we should?
Not yet, but we're coming to stores in 2016.
And also, what we'll be willing to do is also, if you're a salon and you want to have this at your salon, we'll be able to definitely get you a couple buckets. And
Yes, we can. Just let us know. We'll send them out.
so just give us a call. Our number's here.
504-339-3907.
All right. Here's a question that came from someone that knows that I do the podcast. She wants to remain anonymous, but the question is, because she's going through a phase in her hair where she's getting a lot of shedding. She wants to know, does dread shed, and how much does it shed, if it does shed?
Of course, it sheds. I mean, it's dead hair. I mean, like anything else. I mean, and especially if it hasn't been getting the proper maintenance and moisture, it will have just like Mr. Wanda explained, even with the dead ends, it will just pop dead. I mean, it's just some fuzz ends. It does dry out. It will shed just a little. It will.
Okay. So when you say shed, when
There's
I shed, I have like little strings. So when y'all shed, do y'all have like a baby dread or something?
Go ahead.
I would say it depends on what it is. I think if you're at the atrophy stage, it's actually the bottom portions of your locks. But along the way, when you're starting, like in this pre-lock phase and the budding phase, there are little pieces that come off, and it's not a baby lock, it's actual strands of hair. Like if you do this, some strands may be in your hand, but it's not going to be like a clump of hair or a Ziploc bag in your hand.
Or a lock pulling
I
straight
have a
out.
question. So what do you do in an instance, like as in my hair, my hair, you gel my hair, and my hair is badly damaged from chemicals and so forth, and now my hair is natural. What would you advise people to do in an instance where they have like missing spots in their hair and they want to go natural? And how would they, they want to go all natural from, the chemicals and everything, but they might have a few bald spots or, one or two or whatever. How would you advise them to start dreading from that point? Because personally, I know some people that have done it, and camouflage the spots with the dread, What would you advise in that?
Well, here at Beauty on the Bayou, we do lock extensions, we do lock repair. So if you wanted us to camouflage that spot, we can use faux locks to do that process. But we could also use human kinky hair to where even though it's a faux lock, it looks authentic. And we can get
Not
it.
as heavy.
No, it's not as heavy at all. And it'll look very consistent to the rest of your hair. Will match it to your hair color and texture. Now, if you just want to stimulate the follicles and make hair come where that hair is not, I would suggest stimulating the hair. I would suggest using like a vitamin E directly on the scalp, a fertilizing temple balm. I would also take hair and nail vitamins or biotin, things to stimulate the growth of the hair. But if you didn't want those spots to show in your locking process, I would recommend a faux lock, and possibly with the human kinky hair, so that it would look authentic to your hair texture and type.
Okay, so see y'all, there's something for everyone.
Do you suggest that you get your hair trimmed when you have locks, like regular hair?
Not necessarily. I think that becomes a very personal choice, and I think depending on the person's hair texture and type, because sometimes people that have very, very soft hair, the ends don't lock, and when the hair starts to mature, they want to cut those fuzzies off so that it can look consistent. But then sometimes, eventually, as the hair matures, it just locks like the rest. And I think depending on the hair, depending on the lifestyle, there's a whole bunch of factors that go into whether or not you should or should not trim your locks. But I think it's a choice, it's a preference. It's not a have to. Now, if your hair is all natural and you're not locked, I would suggest you definitely trimming your ends with some regular, but not necessarily if you have locks.
No, I don't think you should cut into locks either. I mean, that's what, like Ms. Donna said, yes, you may have some curls at your tips. And sometimes even if you cut into the lock, it will leave like a defrailed rope look. Because it's no longer locked. Now it's popping and raveling up. And it looks like a rope that's coming loose. So personally, no, I don't think you should cut into locks. Even if it's for a style or, because I've seen some people cut their locks into bobs and maybe, you know, just trim them to be even. Because as your, like anything, when your hair grows, different parts of your hair grow at different levels. So you're gonna have different layers of your hair and they want the locks to be even straight across. So they take the locks and cut them straight across. And I think that takes away as well from the lock, personally.
So I'm gonna suggest something. So if you're one of those that like a style, grow your hair first, cut it the way you want it, and then start it off as a double strand twist lock. How about that?
That's a possibility.
That's a possibility. Hey, hey. Okay, we have some questions about people that already have locks and just some general questions. The first question is going to be, if you already have locks and you want to make them thicker, how do you make them thicker? And vice versa, if you have thick locks and you want them to be slimmer or thinner, how do you go about that process?
Well, the process with making locks thicker would be just as well like with the double strand technique, where you would take locks and join them together, and you would start at the root, a plait, and then double strand them and hold them with different things, wire, string, rubber bands. There are different things that you can use to hold them together in order to get them to mature and join. Now, making them slimmer, I've seen techniques where they're taking it and cut through them and then started the lock like that by cutting into the lock and going straight up with it. But personally, I have never done that. Have you ever done that?
I have done that to make the locks thinner.
And do you find that it sheds more that way?
Not at all, especially if the locks are thick like a rope.
Like mature.
Like if they definitely mature, but if they're thick and you cut them, it doesn't lessen the lock any because they were strong to begin with.
So it doesn't shed at all?
No.
Wow.
I've done this like 2 or 3 times,
Really?
but the locks were really, really thick.
Okay.
So when I separated it, when I cut it and then I palm rolled it because I didn't want the frays, that fray that you talked about. I cut it and then I palm rolled it.
And it came back together.
It was, eventually it formed 2 separate locks.
Wow.
But I've also done a technique where I've done that and I've wrapped yarn, thread, or hair around it as well.
Okay.
The next question is, if you have dreads that are broken off, what should you do?
Save them and bring them to me so that I can reattach them for you. We do lock repairs, as I mentioned. We use Afro kinky human hair. We also use threading, where we actually can thread your hair back onto itself. We can braid it back in for you. But we do lock repairs here at Beauty Under My Hair.
Okay, we're good. If someone wanted to do that process at home, what would you recommend? How would they reattach it?
Because somebody is doing it at home, I would suggest thread because they can see the hair, they can see the needle. But if they were skilled, I would suggest them wrapping that human kinky hair around it and palm rolling it.
Okay.
For formal, you would just suggest they come to a shop, as far as this one, you know, to get it repaired. That way you'll have a neater, cleaner, fresher look, and it won't be as like a throwback, or like a hookup, a hookup look.
Don't hook yourself up.
Yeah, please don't, because we're gonna see that thread.
Okay, Coco _dip_mini from Atlanta asked, I guess you clarified that, but she asked if your hair was originally shaved on the sides and then a lock style, how do you catch your shave up with?
So you can't see this because of where I'm sitting, the position that I'm sitting, but I've shaved the back of my head. And I'm now trying to figure out, do I want to start some smaller locks so that eventually my hair will all be locked again, or if I'm going to shave it? And I haven't made the decision yet, so I have like a little baby bush back here. But I think if you do shave your back or your sides, you just have to make a decision of whether or not you're going to lock that hair. And because the rest of the hair is a different length, it may or may not catch up. Like my hair's been locked at the top for so long, the back is never going to catch up to the front. So at the point that if I wanted them even, I can either cut the hair that's at the top to meet the ones that I've grown, or I can add some hair to the shorter parts to make it look longer. That's what I could do if I wanted a consistent look.
Now, will you be able to tell the 4 locks from the rest of your locks, and will you be able to tell the starting point of your hair versus the 4 locks?
Depending on the hair that I use. My hair is really soft, and I've done this for like 20 years, so I can find hair that matches my soft hair. But then I decided to color my hair hot pink. So unless I'm going to make hot pink locks in the back, I might have a little bit of a problem with matching it all up.
I think as far as with the 4 locks, it does not. Sometimes it will make a difference, and sometimes it won't. Like Ms. Wanda said, again, it's with the texture of your hair. It depends solely on the texture of your hair. It's ideal to blend it with the kinkeloid hair. They have the Marley hair. And you just blend it and then wrap it around. It may look different, but I noticed with the different ones that I've done with the repairs, it was a pretty good blending job. It did not look as different. It doesn't stand out as much as you would assume. Maybe because it's blended in a full head of locks and it's just maybe 1 or 2 locks. But they may have a different size, and the coloring may be just a little different from their regular color, but I think it does a pretty good blending job. I don't think it looks too different. It doesn't make a major difference.
A lot of people ask, how do they know if they're ready for locks? So is there a good answer for that question? I feel that it's on you. I mean, it's on what you want to look like, but people feel that, oh, this happened to my hair, or that happened to my hair, or what?
Well, my personal journey for myself. I started my locks in 1998 with the birth of my first daughter. For me, it was a spiritual, empowering movement. It was more or less, at that time, it was kind of taboo. Late 2000s, late 90s, you didn't find too many black women wearing their natural hair in general, let alone starting locks.
Especially younger black women.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So for me, it was a journey of self-expression. It was a move of empowerment. It was spiritual, and it was just something I wanted to do. I remember the first set of locks I saw. I was an older lady standing at the bus stop in the rain, and I just remember looking at her, and her hair had the silver fox thing going on, and it was raining slightly. And I asked my dad, I said, "Daddy, what's that in her hair?" She looked so regal to me. She just looked like regal. And he said, "Those are dreadlocks." And I had to have been no older than 8 or 9. And I was like, dreadlocks? And it just peaked in my mind. And it just peaked in my mind. And when I was about 19 or 20, my hair did some shedding with, after your childbirth. Some women experience this, your hair does breaking and it pops and it started to fall out. So I went full natural. I had the Caesar cut for a little while, cut it all off. Everybody was like, "What is she doing? What's wrong?" And for me, it was like, I'm starting my locks. And why? Because that's what I want to do. But that's what it was for me. It was self-expression. It was a term of expression and empowerment.
We had a very good session of talking about locks. We're going to go through some key points real quick, and we're going to give some speedy answers to your questions. Washing and maintaining.
You should wash it as often as you deem necessary. It does not have to be, some people believe that in order for their hair to lock, they cannot get it wet. That's not true. Your hair loves water. Your hair is like a flower. It's just like a plant. Just like flowers growing out of your mind, it needs the love, the nurture, and the patience.
I'm sorry.
Wash as often as you deem necessary.
How to start locks.
Palm twist, free
Double
form,
strand.
double strand, interlocks,
faux locks.
And continuously locking, not just locking 1 week and then the next week you're gonna just let it go, or the next 2 weeks you have to it's a continuous process.
To train it, it's a training process. You have to train your hair.
The best products besides our best.
That's it. This is the one. I'm sold, y'all. I mean, at these 2 years, and I'll be honest with you all as well as Ms. Tawana, this is my 3rd set of locks, and just with the growth that I've seen while using this product in particular, it's just awesome. It's just awesome.
Get your
I'm sold.
beauty on the body.
Beauty on the
20
body.
years of twisting and
Yes, I concur.
And how often to retwist and wash?
we spoke on that. Maybe every 4 to 6 weeks, depends on your personal choice and just your hair texture.
At least once a month.
At least.
And if your hair grows fast, at least 2 to 3 weeks.
She likes them neat.
Yeah,
I can tell.
I won't see nobody straggling out here. If you gonna lock up, tighten up. If you gonna lock it, keep it tight. Keep it tight, baby. Don't come walking looking crazy.
Yes, Lord.
Well, that was our segment on locks with Beauty on the Bayou.
And to make it smell good. Go ahead.
And again, we have our special guest.
Mia, my name is Mia, and I am growing. I'm growing and locking my life.
And I am Lizzie. I'm the Great Whisperer.
I'm not another logician. Peace, y'all.
I'm Duana, and I would like to say that while Nina is our resident lock specialist, everybody here at Beauty on the Bayou is able to do locks.
Yes.
And I'm Brianna, the hair ranger.
I'm Asia, just your host. and a very good customer, a loyal customer.
Yes.
And also, Beauty on the Bayou is located at
2521 Bayou Road in New Orleans, Louisiana.
our website is
www.beautyonthebayou.com.
our Instagram is
All of it is Beauty on the Bayou.
spell Beauty on the Bayou for
ONDE.
BAYOU.
Beauty on the
Beauty on the Bayou. Check us out. Look us up. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit us up on any of those sites that we just named. If you have any topics that you would like us to discuss, again, feel free to hit us up. Call us. We're right here. Beauty on the Bayou.
Beauty on the
We're
Bayou.
we're waiting to make your dreams and decisions and discussions come reality, okay? So just let us know what we can do for you.
Alrighty, bye bye.
Bye.